Hey guys, Jorg here, and I'm back with some niche deadlock tech that I don't see anybody else using. I've been trying to implement these into my game, and I think you should too. So let's just get right into it. You may have noticed that if you hold shoot and then do a dash slide, there's a lockout window before you're able to shoot again. This can be quite annoying if you're chasing an enemy down or just trying to use dash slides to conserve ammo in lane. But if you weren't shooting and do a dash slide, you can start shooting as soon as you start your slide, so all you have to do is not shoot just before you dash slide. And you can get this timing down really low. Here I'm canceling my dash with slide very quickly in order to show off how fast you can shoot again, but if you want the extra distance, you can do the full length dash slide and still get some benefit out of this. It might not seem like much, but once I started doing it, everything felt so much smoother. Tip number 2 is the warpstone dash jump, and just the warpstone dash. Warpstone is a good item, but it just doesn't feel clean sometimes, because you lose all your momentum. But what many people don't know is you're put into an actionable state earlier than you might think, allowing you to warp dash, or even warp dash jump. In order to warp dash jump, all you have to do is warpstone between your dash and your jump while still leaving enough time for the dash jump timing. Tip number 3 is that you can wall jump mantle many walls that most people think you need to wall jump heavy melee. And you just don't need to, and it's faster not to. So the shop jump, for example, this works on either shop, although you do have to release and repress the spacebar on the shop with the bigger air duct. This also works on the bridges in the middle 2 lanes, although only on the side with the owl statue, not the gargoyle statue for some reason. It also works on a ton of low walls around the map. I'll show off some of my favorite spots here, but there are others. So this just saves time compared to doing the heavy melee, and saves stamina compared to double jumping, and all you have to do is jump into a wall jump, and then mantle by holding spacebar, or sometimes if it's slightly higher, repressing spacebar. Tip number 4. Every shooter player knows leaning is OP, especially on the right side in Deadlock, but did you know you can use it to clear almost every camp without taking damage? The only exceptions are the camps that require you to be close by to maintain aggro, as there's no cover then. But it works on almost every tier 1 and 2 and the tier 3s in mid. For those camps with aggro, you can kind of juggle their aggro by moving back and forth, but it probably doesn't save you that much health. I mostly use this on the tier 3 camps above mid boss as you get the most value out of it, and with Lady Geist as I always seem to be low HP with her. Tip number 5 is that you can parry troopers, which gives you a parry reset, allowing you to get off multiple parries to surprise an opponent. This is useful for 2 main reasons. Number 1 is you can use this to just bait your opponents into thinking your parry is down. This is kind of the cheese way to do it. The parry animation does still play, but they're not super noticeable and people mostly just see the blue. Number 2 is you can sort of use it as an option select. If you're in close range combat with someone, you can walk next to an enemy minion. So if they heavy melee, you can parry. And if they parry bait it, since you parried the trooper, you still have your parry up and you can get another parry off. So let's just run that back real quick and go through how to use this technique. So after he misses the charge, we walk near the enemy minions, anticipating a heavy melee or at least a melee bait. We hear the heavy melee sound, so we parry. He did bait, but we still have our parry up because we parried a trooper. Here he doesn't know the tech, so he gets baited, but even if he did, we would be in a fine spot with full stamina and our parry available. If you didn't catch all that, here's a summary. And those are our 5 niche deadlock techniques for this week. Once again, that was a lot of information, so let's do a quick review. We went over slide shoot canceling, warpstone dash jumping, wall jump mantling, hitless jungling, and parrying troopers. Now we have a brand new Q&A segment while Dynamo spins. So last time Dynamo said he'd spin 10% faster for every sub, and we went from 17 to 576. Whoa. So that's 5,590% faster. Here he goes, and here we go. And Dan asked, how do kill souls get split? Does the killer get 100% and assists get split? So let's find out. From what I can tell, there's a total bounty that gets split among the killer and all the assisters. Kill souls also increase over the length of the game, which is why you might see different values at the top there. And we can see that the killer's share of the souls is getting diminished for each assist, and it's not like League of Legends, for example, where getting an assist actually nets your team more souls. Now, comeback souls are a little more complicated, and I wasn't able to get their formula down exactly, and there kept being weird situations and anomalies, but I got some general rules out of it. What I do know is that comeback souls are split between the whole team, with extra given to the killer and assisters. As for the math, my estimation is that there's a comeback bounty determined by the player killed's net worth, but there's also a large effect based on the team soul difference. Next, MacDaddy Filth commented, you can do a parry and dash in the same animation if you hit both keys at the same time. Good for when they try to melee last hit minions. I was aware of this, but it requires tick perfect timing, so without a macro, which are against TOS and will get you banned, I don't see myself implementing it into the game. However, if you are just built different, I should note that the melee dash hitbox comes out from where you started, not where you ended, whereas the parry hitbox is longer and thus more forgiving. Thanks guys, subscribe for more, and maybe for next video, we'll give Dynamo a break and instead seductively slow down Lash's dance.
Small town lady looking to get a taste of the big city?